What if I told you that just by opening one simple can of fish, costing less than your morning coffee, you could begin to harness what top cardiologists are calling the ultimate pipe cleaner for your arteries, and what leading orthopedic surgeons now refer to as a walking super calcium pill, starting this very week? I'm Dr. Michael Smith, and as a physician who has spent more than 3 decades in the trenches of clinical practice, watching good, honest people struggle, I'm here to tell you a profound truth. The most powerful secrets to our health are often not found in expensive laboratories, but hidden in plain sight, in the most unassuming corners of our lives. For the longest time, we've treated this incredible food like a cheap, unpresentable afterthought. We've recoiled from its distinctive aroma. We've dismissed it without a second thought. What earth-shattering secret have we been missing all this time? And why are the people who really know about health secretly indulging in it? Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell icon. I invite you to become part of this community, where we uncover the simple truths that can lead to profound health. It's an honor to have you here. Now, let's start by confronting the reasons why this humble fish has been so misunderstood. I think many of you watching, especially our mothers and grandmothers, have certain deep-seated impressions when you hear the word sardines. First, that unmistakable fishy smell. For many, the odor is too strong, even offensive. They can't even stand to be in the same room with it, let alone consider eating it. Second, the ingrained perception that canned food has no nutritional value. We're taught from a young age that fresh is best. We believe that anything sealed in a can must have been processed to death, losing all its vital nutrients and pumped full of chemical preservatives. And third, there is a very real social stigma, a feeling that it's cheap, unrefined food. If you serve a beautiful plate of grilled salmon when you have guests over, people will think you have sophisticated taste. But opening a can of sardines, they might quietly think you're being stingy, perhaps even a bit desperate. Isn't that how it is? These ideas are so deeply ingrained in our minds. They are like a century-old miscarriage of justice that has unfairly tarnished the reputation of this wonderful, life-giving fish. Let me tell you a true story from my practice. It's about a man I consulted with, my neighbor, old Mr. Johnson. He is almost 70 years old and a quintessential health nut. A glass cabinet in his living room had become a shrine to the supplement industry. Gleaming bottles of imported Norwegian deep-sea fish oil, expensive shark liver oil from the Atlantic. He easily spent hundreds of dollars every single month on these potions. His wife, Mrs. Johnson, is a very thrifty and practical woman. One day, she heard that sardines were good for you, so she bought a few cans from the local supermarket. Each can cost less than a value meal at a fast food restaurant. She thought she'd give them to Mr. Johnson to boost his health. But when Mr. Johnson saw them, his face fell. Contempt was written all over it. "Why did you buy this stuff?" he said, his voice dripping with condescension. "It smells fishy. This is poor people's food. What good can it possibly do? Take it away. I'll just take my expensive fish oil." Mrs. Johnson, a gentle soul, didn't want to argue. She had no choice but to eat them herself, in silence, for lunch a few times a week. Well, 6 months later, they came to my office for their annual checkups together. Mr. Johnson's report showed that his triglycerides were still stubbornly, dangerously high. The doctor reviewing his arterial scan pointed out that his arteries showed continued, clear signs of blockage. On the other hand, Mrs. Johnson's numbers, they were all excellent. The cardiologist was so impressed he even praised her, saying her vascular age was at least 10 years younger than her actual age. The doctor, intrigued, asked Mrs. Johnson what she had been eating. She was honest and said, "I haven't been eating anything special, just those canned sardines, quite often." The room went silent. The doctor turned to Mr. Johnson and delivered a line that changed his life. "Mr. Johnson," he said kindly but firmly, "your wife is eating the right thing. Your expensive fish oil is just a single nutrient, but the whole can of sardines she's eating, that's an all-around protection team." Mr. Johnson was stunned into silence. From that day on, he never dared to look down on that little can of sardines again. What does this story tell us? It's time to rehabilitate the sardine. Today, I'm going to take you with me and uncover the truth behind these 3 major misunderstandings. First, that so-called fishy smell. Friends, that's not a stench. It is a gift from the ocean. That rich, potent aroma is the most direct and intense proof of top-quality, unadulterated omega-3 unsaturated fatty acids. The higher the quality of the deep-sea fish, the purer and more intense that aroma might be. We're mistaking pure gold for fool's gold, treasures for trash. Isn't that a pity? Next, let's shatter the myth that canned food has no nutritional value. This is a completely false notion based on outdated ideas. Modern canning processes are nothing like what we imagine. They use high temperature, high pressure, and instant sterilization technology. This means there is absolutely no need to add any chemical preservatives to achieve long-term preservation. But more importantly, this process has a huge benefit that we can't achieve when frying or boiling fish at home. It can cook the tiny, delicate fish bones until they melt in your mouth. And what's in those fish bones? They are full, and I mean full, of natural calcium. This calcium is perfectly released from the bones through the high temperature and pressure, dissolving into the fish meat and the broth. This means that every single bite we take contains the essence of the whole fish, bones and all. Finally, let's talk about the cheapness of sardines. It's not because they're low grade, it is quite the opposite. It's because they're so good, so pure, and so abundant. They are at the very bottom of the ocean's food chain, feeding on plankton. This means they hardly accumulate any of the heavy metals, like mercury, that plague larger, more predatory fish. They're incredibly clean. Moreover, their growth cycle is short, and their reproductive capacity is super strong. They are a generous, sustainable gift from nature that provides us with a constant stream of nutrition. That we can enjoy such pristine nutrition at such a low price. This is a blessing, not something to be ashamed of. So you see, behind every prejudice we have against sardines lies a huge, hidden benefit. Understanding this is the only way we can truly enter its world of hidden health benefits. Good. Now that we've cleared up our misunderstandings, let's get to the core of today's topic. Something that will completely change your understanding. Treasure number 1. Your heart's ultimate bodyguard, surpassing expensive pills. Those expensive fish oil pills on the market. They cost tens of dollars per pill, hundreds of dollars per bottle. They are heavily advertised, making it seem like you'll be left behind if you don't take them. But how much does a can of sardines cost? Can their effects really be compared? Today, I'm going to tell you a harsh truth. When it comes to protecting your heart and clearing your arteries, that unassuming can of sardines may be far, far more effective than the fish oil supplements you spend a fortune on. Why am I so confident in saying this? Let's use that analogy again. Our blood vessels are like the pipes in our homes. As we get older, after long use, the pipes become rusty, and slimy, oily deposits form inside. This is what we call bad cholesterol and blood clots. If the pipes are clogged, the water can't flow through. If our blood vessels are blocked, our heart and brain will have big problems. What's the main ingredient in those fish oil supplements? It's omega-3. Omega-3 is definitely a good thing. It's like a single cleaning worker who can help us scrape off some of the oily deposits on the artery walls, but it's just a lone cleaning worker. On the other hand, a whole sardine is not just a lone cleaning worker. It's a well-equipped, well-organized royal guard. In this guard, besides the main force, the super high concentration of omega-3, there are several other key roles that work in perfect synergy. 1. The engine mechanic, Coenzyme Q10. What is this? It's the engine oil for your heart. Your heart has to beat 100,000 times a day, a task requiring a huge amount of energy. Coenzyme Q10 is the key substance that helps heart muscle cells generate that energy. It makes the engine of your heart strong and tireless, preventing fatigue and failure. 2. The rust-proofing expert, Selenium. This is a super powerful antioxidant. We can call it the rust-proof coating for our blood vessels. It can prevent the artery walls from being oxidized and rusting from the attack of free radicals, keeping the blood vessels elastic and young. 3. The circuit engineer, Vitamin B12. This is the stabilizer for your nervous system. It can maintain the health of our cardiovascular nerves, ensuring the electrical signals that govern your heartbeat are stable and regular, preventing problems such as an irregular heart rate or palpitations. Do you understand now? When you take a fish oil pill, you're just hiring a cleaning worker to tidy up your house. But when you eat a whole can of sardines, it's like you've hired the most professional cleaning worker, omega-3, the top-notch engine maintenance master, Coenzyme Q10, the most powerful rust-proof expert, Selenium, and the most reliable circuit engineer, Vitamin B12. They work together, they cooperate with each other, and the effect is definitely not as simple as 1 + 1 = 2. Instead, it's a geometric, multiple increase. Those supplement manufacturers have spent hundreds of millions of dollars on advertising, hyping up a small capsule as something miraculous, selling you something that probably only costs a few dollars for hundreds of times the price. But what they never dare to tell you is that nature has already prepared a more complete, more natural, and more affordable, perfect alternative for us. And this isn't just theory. The National Cancer Center in Japan once conducted a large-scale tracking study that lasted 10 years. The results of this study shocked the entire medical community. They found that the group that consistently consumed small deep-sea fish, like sardines 2 to 3 times a week, had a nearly 30% lower risk of heart attack and stroke than those who only relied on taking fish oil supplements. 30%, my friends. This is not a small number. Behind this number is the happiness of so many families and the health of so many people in their later years. If you're still with me, please let me know by typing a 1 in the comments. It helps me know we're on this journey together and this message is making a difference. All right, now that we've taken care of our most important heart, let's move on to another big problem. That's our skeleton that has been used for decades. Treasure number 2, the walking supercalcium pill for brittle bones. As we get older, what are we most afraid of? First, falling. Second, brittle bones. I see patients every week who tell me the same stories. A patient I'll call Margaret, a woman who loved her garden more than anything. She had to give it up. Why? Because the constant ache in her knees after just a few minutes of weeding became unbearable. Or another man who confessed he was afraid to even sneeze too hard for fear of a sharp pain in his back. These are all alarms being sent by your bones. Many people force themselves to drink milk every day to supplement calcium. But what happens? For so many, it's just gurgling stomachs and uncomfortable bloating. This is a classic case of lactose intolerance, which is incredibly common, especially as we age. Others go to the pharmacy and buy a bunch of calcium pills, but when they go to the hospital to get their bone density measured, they still fail to meet the standards. Why is that? The problem lies in one word: absorption. Calcium supplementation is not just about eating it. The key is to let the body absorb it and truly lock the calcium in the bones. This is like building a house. Calcium is the brick for building the house. But no matter how many truckloads of bricks you buy, if there's no good foreman to direct the workers, the bricks can only be piled on the construction site. They will never be built into a strong house. So who is this foreman? He's vitamin D. Vitamin D is responsible for promoting the absorption of calcium in our intestines and guiding the calcium to the bones where it's needed. Without vitamin D, no matter how much calcium you eat, most of it will just take a day trip in your body and then be excreted. It's completely a waste of effort. Now, here's the magic part: our protagonist today, the sardine. Its greatest feature is that it is rich in both massive calcium and abundant vitamin D. Where does its calcium come from? It comes from those fish bones that have been stewed until they're soft and melt in your mouth. You eat sardines with the bones and the meat. This is the most natural and complete way to supplement calcium, and its vitamin D comes from the fish meat and fish oil. When the bricks, calcium, and the foreman, vitamin D, enter your body at the same time, they will immediately begin their perfect collaboration. Vitamin D will grab every calcium ion and act like a responsible guide, accurately bringing them to the place in the bones where they are most needed. So eating sardines to supplement calcium is like directly injecting a dose of perfect bone nutrition into your body. It's precise, efficient, and not wasteful at all. For those who can't drink milk, sardines are simply another door to calcium supplementation that God has opened for us. The European Society for Clinical and Economic Aspects of Osteoporosis, Osteoarthritis, and Musculoskeletal Diseases, ESCEO, has warned that middle-aged and elderly women have one of the highest rates of osteoporosis in the world. They emphasized that simply supplementing with calcium has limited effects and must be combined with a sufficient amount of vitamin D. And in natural foods, there are very, very few that can perfectly integrate calcium and vitamin D like the humble sardine. So stop worrying about calcium supplementation. Instead of spending money on those calcium pills that you don't know if you can absorb, add a small can of sardines to your daily menu. It's the real walking super calcium pill that can build a strong skeleton for you, allowing you to walk with ease and confidence, even at 80 or 90 years old. Treasures up 3. The hidden nemesis of blood sugar. After talking about the heart and bones, do you think that's all there is to sardines? Wrong. Its abilities far exceed your imagination. The following discovery may bring new hope to many friends who have blood sugar problems. Scientists have pointed out in one amazing study after another that sardines are actually the hidden ace in the fight against diabetes, the most common chronic disease of our time. I remember a patient, let's call him David. His life was ruled by the finger prick. Every meal was a source of anxiety. He felt like he was on a roller coaster he couldn't get off, the spike after eating, the crash a few hours later. He was pre-diabetic and terrified of crossing the line into full-blown diabetes. We all know that the key to blood sugar problems lies in something called insulin. Insulin is like a key. Its job is to open the doors of our body's cells so that the sugar we eat, blood sugar, can enter the cells, smoothly convert into energy, and be used up. If this key has a problem, or the lock on the door is rusty and can't open, a condition called insulin resistance, a large amount of sugar will stay in the blood, causing high blood sugar and eventually developing into diabetes. And the mysterious power of sardines to stabilize blood sugar is embodied in two aspects. First, it is a blood sugar stabilizing food in itself. Sardines are rich in top-quality protein and healthy omega-3 fats. These two things are like ballast stones that stabilize blood sugar. When we eat sardines with rice, noodles, or other carbohydrates, the protein and fat can greatly slow down the rate at which the stomach and intestines absorb sugar. This prevents our blood sugar from soaring and then falling rapidly like a roller coaster after meals. It can make the blood sugar curve very smooth and stable. Second, and more importantly, sardines can help us improve the problem of insulin resistance. That rusty lock we talked about. Studies have found that the rich omega-3 fatty acids and vitamin D in sardines are like applying top-quality lubricating oil to that rusty lock. They can reduce chronic inflammation in the body, repair cell membranes, and increase the sensitivity of cells to insulin. The lock is no longer rusty. You can easily open the door with a key, and blood sugar will naturally enter the cells, and the concentration of sugar in the blood will decrease. A long-term study of patients with prediabetes in Europe yielded very encouraging results. The researchers divided the patients into two groups. One group ate a normal diet, while the other group was asked to add sardines to their diet twice a week. After just 6 months, the researchers found that the group that ate sardines had a significant improvement in their fasting blood sugar and insulin sensitivity, which greatly delayed their formal development into malignant diabetes. This discovery is undoubtedly great news. It tells us that in addition to taking medication, we can also adjust our diet and use the most natural and simple methods to win back control of our health. Treasure number 4. The superfuel for a youthful brain heart. Bones. Blood sugar. Do you think that's all there is to it? No. The most amazing finale of sardines is about to come. This benefit is related to the dignity of our quality of life in our later years. It is related to whether we can have a clear and bright twilight years. That is brain health. Everyone in front of the screen. Have you ever had such experiences? You often walk into the kitchen, but suddenly forget what you wanted to get. You have words on the tip of your tongue, but can't remember that person's name. Or, you often can't find your keys or where you put your phone. These small forgetfulness and moments of confusion may not just be due to old age. It may be that our brain is sending out early distress signals. I'll never forget the pain in the eyes of a patient, a wonderful grandfather named Arthur. He confessed to me his deepest fear. He had called his beloved granddaughter by the wrong name, and he saw the flicker of hurt in her eyes. "Doctor," he said, his voice trembling, "I'm afraid I'm fading away." This is not just your own worry and fear. It is also the heaviest concern in the hearts of your children. Today, I want to tell you good news. Sardines are the top-quality superfuel for our brains. They are the secret weapon to prevent Alzheimer's disease and delay brain aging. Our brain is actually a large oil field. 60% of its components are fat. And the key to determining whether the brain is smart or slow lies in the quality of these fats. DHA, a component of omega-3 fatty acids, is the good oil that the brain likes and needs the most. It's like the top-quality steel and cement used to build a house. It is the most important material that constitutes our brain's nerve cells and cell membranes. Sufficient DHA can make the transmission of information between brain neurons faster and smoother. This is like replacing the old phone lines in your home with super high-speed fiber optic networks. Not only that, Sardines also contain that critical teamwork of vitamin B12 and vitamin D. Scientific research has clearly confirmed that the lack of these two vitamins is closely related to the decline in cognitive function in old age and even the occurrence of Alzheimer's disease. Vitamin B12 is responsible for maintaining the myelin sheath of our nervous system, which is like the insulation on the outside of an electrical wire, protecting the nerve signals from leaking. And vitamin D has been found to help the brain clear out a type of waste called amyloid protein. The accumulation of this waste is the main culprit that leads to Alzheimer's disease. You see, it's teamwork again. DHA is responsible for building the house well, vitamin B12 is responsible for laying out the lines, and vitamin D is responsible for cleaning up the waste. This iron triangle of brain protection works together to build a solid defense line for our brains to resist the erosion of time. Dr. Smith's Ultimate Smart Sardine Guide. After saying so many amazing benefits, I believe many friends are already itching to go to the supermarket. But don't rush. With so many canned sardines on the supermarket shelves, how do you choose and eat them to maximize the effects? Buying the wrong one is a waste of effort. Don't worry, I have prepared an ultimate smart fish eating guide for you. First, purchase skills. Remember 2 key points to help you avoid traps. The first key point is to look at the broth. Pick up the can and look carefully at the label. We should give priority to sardines immersed in olive oil or spring water. Why? Because olive oil itself is also a very healthy oil. It can better preserve the fat-soluble vitamins in the fish. The one soaked in spring water has the lowest calories and is the purest. What should we avoid? Try to avoid those soaked in tomato sauce or concentrated brine. Many tomato sauces will add a lot of hidden sugar and sodium for seasoning. And concentrated brine, it goes without saying, the sodium content is far too high, which can cause edema and increase the burden on the kidneys. The second key point is to look at the place of origin. If conditions permit, you can give priority to brands from countries along the Atlantic Ocean, such as Portugal, Spain, and France. These places are traditional high-quality sardine-producing areas. The fishing and processing technology is very mature, and the quality is relatively more guaranteed. Now, how to eat the selected can at home? Here are some lazy recipes from entry level to advanced level for you. The easiest entry level: open the can and eat it directly. Pair it with a bowl of hot white rice or porridge, or sandwich it in a bun or bread. The salty aroma of the fish mixed with the sliced oil is the most simple and delicious taste. If you're still a little afraid of the fishy smell, I will teach you a unique trick. Before eating, squeeze a few drops of fresh lemon juice on the fish or sprinkle a little ginger powder to perfectly neutralize the fishy smell. For advanced levels, pour out the fish from the can, mash it with a fork, then cut some minced onion and cilantro, squeeze some lemon juice, and add a small spoonful of mayonnaise and mix well to make a top-quality homemade sardine salad dressing. It's 100 times better than those sold outside and healthier. There is also a private eating method. Beat 2 eggs in a bowl and whisk them, then pour the sardine meat along with a little oil into it and stir evenly. Heat a pan with a little oil and stir-fry until cooked. It is a sardine fried egg. The smoothness of the eggs and the deliciousness of the sardines are guaranteed to make you fall in love with it. Finally, and most importantly, I want to make a responsible health warning. Although sardines are treasures, there are 2 types of friends who need to be especially careful when eating them. That is, friends who have problems with gout or hyperuricemia. Because sardines are high purine foods, please be sure to avoid eating them during acute attacks of gout. During the remission period, please be sure to consult your doctor or nutritionist and take them in moderation under their guidance. Before you head out, If this video brought you value, tap like, hit subscribe. Your support helps this message reach more people who need to hear these simple, powerful truths. All right, today we have conducted a thorough vindication for this longevity fish that has been forgotten for too long. We found that it is not just a can of cheap canned food. It is more of an omnipotent nutrition protection given to us by nature. He is the ultimate bodyguard of the heart, a walking super calcium tablet, a hidden nemesis that stabilizes blood sugar, and a superfuel that keeps our brain young. More importantly, it taught us a wiser attitude towards life. True health is not necessarily expensive and does not necessarily require those flashy health products. Sometimes it is hidden in the most simple and inconspicuous corners around us, waiting for us to discover it with wisdom. Now I want to make a health agreement, full of love and hope, with every friend in front of the screen. This weekend, please buy a can of high-quality sardines for yourself and your family. When you open it with your own hands, please remember our conversation today. You need to know that this is not just a can of fish. This is your love for your family's health for decades to come. It is the beginning of your commitment to your physical health. Let us witness the change together. From today onwards, embrace this treasure from the ocean. I wish every one of my friends can eat healthily and live a wonderful life. Let us be healthy, happy, and long-lived together. See you next time.